Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I think I've recovered from the craft fair market that I went to on Saturday. I thought I could come on and chat while I'm putting these journals together, and a few of you all were interested in how my craft fair went and pricing and things like that. And I thought I could do that while I was putting these together. So we'll see how that goes. See if I can multitask. But yeah, I had done a craft fair back, it's probably been 4 years ago now. And I haven't really done one since then. And I thought there's this new outdoor market called the Train Depot here in town. And it's an actual historical train depot, and they have been fixing it up, and they've decided to do several different types of farmers markets and fashion markets, and then vendor markets throughout the summer. I think they're going to go all the way into November. And so I signed up to try, because the price was great. It was only $25 for a spot, which to me is super low risk, especially when you don't know how many journals you're going to sell and things like that. And so I knew going in, this is a new place. We have markets and vintage fairs all the time in this town. Like, vintage is huge. So I know it's going to take time for them to get the word out about their different markets and things like that. So, you know, I went in eyes wide open that may not get a lot of traffic. I didn't know how many other vendors would be there, etc., etc. So I just knew, you know, I wasn't worried about trying to make tons of money. It was more of just kind of getting back out into the local scene and meeting other people, and just kind of getting the word out here locally about my journals and things like that. So it was this past Saturday, and thankfully the weather, there was no rain, but it did end up being, it was really windy, and there were these big, 20-mile-an-hour gusts of wind from time to time. And so I had a pop-up tent, like you have when you tailgate. And so I was really worried about that, blowing away. I had it tied down and everything, but still, I was worried about that, and then just worried about my journals flying away and things like that. But other than that, it was a really great day. Turned out to be a lot of fun. One of my followers, Melissa, she came, and I got to meet her in real life. She had actually picked up, let me show you this book. She was at Joann's, and she had picked up this really cool Simplicity sewing pattern book. And so she brought that to me today, or on Saturday. And it has like all these different vintage patterns in here, and just so many fun images. Like, these are all really cool images that we can cut out and use in our journals. And it was on clearance, and so she picked one up, I think, for herself, and asked if I wanted her to get me one, and I was like, sure. So, but it was so fun chatting with her for a while. And then one of the other vendors came over, and she chatted with me, and somehow these pages didn't get punched right, so I'll have to change those out. I have some extra over here. But another vendor came over, and she was looking at my journals and asking questions about my journals and stuff. and we just, chatted for a long time. So it was fun. And Melissa's husband came also, so we met him. And so that was really fun. But yeah, and I ended up bringing, oh, I forgot to put the back cover on. I ended up bringing about 35 journals, something like that. Goodness, is this going to be too thick? Maybe I can't multitask, you all. I thought I could, but maybe not. Ugh. I'm going to have to start back over. I'm having problems. Okay, so I brought about 35 journals. I brought about 5, I think it is, of my higher priced journals. I figured those wouldn't sell, but I always like to bring them just in case somebody might be interested in something like that. And also, a lot of times people don't even know what a junk journal is, and so letting them see the different options. But then I also brought about 20 to 25 lower priced journals. And so that price range was anywhere from $10 to about $40, $45. So somewhere around in there. And I brought a mixture of little golden book journals, as well as little golden book journals, as well as single signature journals. And most of the journals I brought, you all have seen me make on my channel one time or another. But yeah, so I sold, I think it was 6 journals. So I was very happy about that. I sold kind of the $15 to $40 range of the 6 journals. And I sold 4 of the little golden book cinch journals. Those were a really big hit. And I only brought 6, so I was really happy about that. So I will definitely be making more of those. I have a bunch of little golden books. I just hadn't turned them into journals yet. And then I sold a couple of I sold a strawberry journal, and then I sold the journal I made with Rach and Bella's digitals, where I laminated the cover. I sold that one. And yeah, so I was really happy. And I knew I wanted to have some more lower dollar items. So you all, if you were watching last week, you saw me make those, or I shared with you that I made those pressed flower, dried flower bookmarks, laminated bookmarks. And then I also did yeah, I definitely can't multitask. Sorry, guys. There we go. Sorry about that. There we go. Perfect. Okay. The laminated dried flower bookmarks, and those were a hit. I sold out of all of them. I think I brought 15 of those. And one of my patrons, she bought a few of them before the show even started. So I was like going into the store, going into the craft fair, and I had already made some money because she also bought one of my junk journal kits and a couple other bookmarks. So I had those playing card bookmarks I shared with you guys on the live, and those were a big hit. I sold about half of those, and so those were priced at $1, and so that was I knew that was going to be a good price point to sell those at. And let's see, what else did I sell? Oh, the other great thing is these little guys. If you've ever picked these up, I don't know if Dollar Tree carries them anymore, but I think I got these at Walmart. And I cover the front and back and decorate it up a little bit. And these are great for kids. So I had, I think, 6 of these, and I sold all of those. So those are great, a great thing to give to people. Looks like I was doing something with this one. Don't know what. And so that's another thing to do. And I think, I forget who it was asking about the lower dollar items. Definitely, especially if you're going into a smaller market place. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I have to stop for just a second. I am so pleased with how these turned out. I'm going to do a separate video on these so y'all can see these, but I just thought I didn't want to just sit here and twiddle my thumbs, and I still need to put something on the inside, front and back cover as well. But yeah, those turned out really nice. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, lower dollar items. You definitely want to bring a lot of $1 items. So whether it's bookmarks or little journals like this. I also had some card sets that I had made, and I brought those. I think what I'll do next time, again, I wasn't sure. I didn't want to make a whole bunch of stuff because I wasn't quite sure if people were going to show up at this market or what. But I think making like some tags and some little ephemera pieces, definitely a lot more bookmarks. I think those are really good items. And then I think if I had more journals in the $20 range, I think I would have sold probably a few more, because it seemed like that $40 range was a little scary for people. So that's kind of my advice is, and I think the thing to keep in mind is, when we're making a junk journal, we add so much to it and add and add and add and add. And I think at these markets and things like that, I think it's good to bring some of those where we've decorated them quite a bit, put a lot of labor into them. But I think also making just some nice ones that you can make them pretty quickly and they still look great. I think that's a tip to try, because one of the other journals I sold was I had just taken a bunch of different dyed papers, some that I had ink sprayed, some that were coffee dyed, avocado dyed, and then like food color dyed papers, and made an elastic binding. I don't have any, or I'd show you one. I need to make some more. And, so those are really quick to make, and sold that one as well. I forgot about that one. So I might have sold 7 journals now that I think about it. But I think that's the thing. You're not going to get rich doing these craft fairs, I don't think, unless you do them every single weekend. And I really don't want to do that. But yeah, I think in my mind, I didn't know if I'd sell a single journal. So that I sold 7 of them makes me very happy. And and the fun thing was that people who had never heard or seen them before, they really, really liked looking through them. The sewing journals that I made, I'd made a couple extra, that I made them for my patrons last month. Those were a big hit because people would be like, "Oh, I remember when my mom used to make me dresses with sewing patterns like this," or "I used to make, dresses with sewing patterns like these." And so it was fun to see people it brought back memories for them. And another tip I would suggest is bringing some of your own journals and ones that you have written in, put photos in it, whatever, because that really helps people a lot when they are trying to understand, well, what do I do with this journal? Like the woman who bought, she bought the Pokey Little Puppy Journal, and she had her dog with her, and she's like, oh, I am going to get this journal, and I am going to go home and put pictures of my dog in this journal, you know? So it was really cool to see the wheels turning in their heads, and they got, you know, a fun way to use the journal for them. So that was cool. This one, you know, she's probably in her 20s maybe. They actually walked up. They lived close to the train depot, and they walked up to check things out. And she really liked my fairy journal, but it was, you know, out of her price range at the moment. But she's like, "Are you going to be back?" And I said, "Yeah, I plan on doing a couple more." And she's like, "I'm going to save up for this journal." So that was sweet. And then a couple people were wondering if I would do custom journals, and I said I would. So they took my information. So yeah, you need to have a lot of, I think, dollar items, and then if you can have, like, the junk journal kits are a good kind of $10 item. But if you can make some smaller journals for $10, that's kind of hard for me to do. But I think $15 I can do pretty well. That's what I did the little golden book journals at. And then I think $20 also, if you can do some $20 journals, I think you can have some pretty good luck. And then bringing some of your own journals, I think is good. And what else? Most people did Venmo. A couple people asked if I had Apple Pay, and I don't have Apple Pay set up, so that might be something that I might do, is Apple Pay, but we'll see. But only a couple people paid with cash. Most people, it was Venmo. So Venmo. I don't even know if I don't think anyone used PayPal. I think it was all Venmo. There was something else I was going to suggest. Another tip is, throughout the day, rearrange your journals on your table. So some that you have in the front, bring those, kind of move those to the back of the table, and then bring some other ones up to the front of the table. Having things tiered, elevated, is good to do. It was tough to do that because of the wind. The wind kept kind of knocking things over. It was really strong. But yeah, if you can have things kind of tiered, but definitely rotating your items. Oh, another tip, I had put my journals, I had wrapped them in, clear packaging bags, because that's how I like to store them, and how I ship them and things like that. And I had I started out the day with the items in their packaging, but I would tell people, feel free to take one out and look at it. And as the day went on, I just started taking more and more of them out of the packaging, because I found it was just easier. I think people felt, I don't know if intimidated was the right word, or like they were gonna, mess something up. They didn't feel like unpackaging an item. So I think having them out on the table so that they can flip through them. And when I did the indoor craft fair, I did that. They were all unwrapped, and I just wrapped them when they sold. But it was so windy, so I just kind of would use the journal next to, each journal, kind of to hold the other journal down, because it was so windy. The covers would start flying, and yeah. But and if you have paperweights, if you think it's going to be windy, bring some. If you have some cute paperweights at home, bring those. What else? What else? What else? Journals, packaging, pricing, and change. You'll want to make sure you have some change with you. The best thing to have is have maybe like at least $20 in ones and then some fives and tens. Especially if you're going to have a lot of the $1 items, because sometimes people just have a 5 or a 10 and they buy some of the items. But all in all, I was very happy with how it went. I really liked it. It was 11 to 4, so I didn't have to get up early. Setup was super easy, and my husband was a gym and came and helped set everything up so I didn't hurt my back. I didn't want anything to happen to my back. So that was good. And then, what else? What else? Yeah, that was it. And it was just fun chatting with people, and all in all, it was a good day. But yeah, I think you would have, if you want to do craft fairs and people have given you feedback that you have to have more lower priced items, then you really need to just make sure you make some journals that you haven't put a whole lot of labor into, because I think especially people who don't know who junk journaling is, they almost don't really appreciate all the labor and detail. I mean, I think they do appreciate it. They just aren't willing to pay all that money for it, I guess. Because a lot of people would say, oh my gosh, I can tell that you've put so much time into this. And so, yeah, that was, it's nice when they could see and appreciate that they are, little pieces of art, essentially. And so, yeah. But I think that's really all the advice I would have to give. The bookmarks, the playing cards, the junk journal kits. The other fun thing about the junk journal kits is, that gave me an excuse to kind of talk about my YouTube channel and my Etsy shop. And a lot of people they got really excited when they found out I had an Etsy shop, because sometimes people aren't really shopping the day they're at the market, but they're like, oh, now I know if I want to get someone a notebook or a journal, I know where to go. But I will definitely be making more of the bookmarks and more of the little golden book journals. I almost sold one of the Derby journals, but the person didn't have any money on them, and they just did Apple Pay. So I did have a missed opportunity there with that journal. So that's a bummer. But no, I appreciate all of y'all that were wishing me good luck and asking how it went and stuff like that. So I appreciate y'all so much. And I think I'm going to list some of my bigger journals. I'm going to go ahead. I hadn't listed them in Etsy yet, because part of it, it's like, oh, am I ready to part with this journal yet, And so doing the craft fair kind of helped, I guess, that first step of, okay, I'm ready for these to go out into the world. So if anybody's interested in any of the bigger journals, I'll let you know when they get listed up on Etsy, or you can message me if there's one in particular you've been keeping your eye on. But yeah, if there's any questions I haven't answered, let me know. But I'll probably do maybe like in June, towards the end of June, I might do another one. And then I think I might wait till October or November to do another one, and have a lot more fall and Christmas items at that one, because a lot of times people have started shopping for Christmas gifts and things like that. So, and plus it'll give me some time to make some more lower dollar items that I think will sell at this particular one. And because $25 for my spot, I think is a steal. I don't know, you all tell me, because I know I'll do, when I do the Ballard, now it's for 2 days, but I think it was 100, either 125 or 150. So really, that's like $75 a day. So it's a real low dollar investment for $25, if you ask me. And the hours are good. I think they're going to shift the summer hours to 10 a.m. to 3, just because of the heat. Or maybe 10 to 2, just because of the heat and stuff like that. Which we got lucky. It was hot, but because the wind was blowing, it was not bad at all. I think I got windburn though. My cheeks, I guess it could have been sunburn, but I was literally under my tent all day. So I think it was windburn. Oh, but this lovely lady, Tina, if you're watching my YouTube channel, hopefully you are, she has an Instagram. I don't remember the name of it. I follow her, so I'll list it down below. But she does a lot of like vintage shopping, and I think it's her mom had their booth there. But she started telling me about Whatnot, and Melissa was telling me about Whatnot, and I had seen it, heard of it, haven't checked it out. But have you all heard of Whatnot? Let me know in the comments below, because it sounds absolutely wild. I don't know. People, it's basically like a live auction, and people are selling a lot of vintage stuff over there. And you'll go into somebody's room or whatever, virtual room, and they'll be having a sale, and you bid on items. And they were telling me it's addictive. Like you can, end up shopping and spending way too much. So I don't know if I'll check it out or not. But it sounded dangerous. Like you could accidentally on purpose spend a lot of money. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you have ever heard of Whatnot. And if you've bought anything on Whatnot, let me know. I need to punch some new holes in this guy here. Somehow I messed it up on that other one. But yeah, I'll do another video showing the pages for this journal. All right, there we go. I had to punch the other ones. Somehow I got them off kilter when I was punching their holes. But if you didn't see my first video making these covers, you'll have to go and watch that. And then I'll do a full video on this, the papers, because I have a lot of really cool like vintage papers and things like that in here. But yeah, if there's any comments, questions that I haven't answered, let me know down below, and I'll answer them in another video. But yeah, that's, I think, everything I wanted to cover about the craft fair. It was exhausting afterwards. I told my husband, I'm like, I want to go, because it was a beautiful day. I said, let's go. We went to this bar in J-Town called Third Turn. I went and had a beer, and it was it was so lovely sitting outside and having a nice cold drink after standing on my feet all day. It was great. It was a great day, but I was definitely worn out. So, all right, guys, I will see you all in the next video. Be on the lookout. I'll do part 2 of putting these cuties together. And yeah, thanks so much. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, if you haven't already. And thanks again to all my YouTube members. If you want to join, I have exclusive videos over there that you can check out. And it's a really affordable price point. And then I also have Patreon where you can join. I have different tiers, journal tiers, as well as kind of Happy Mail junk journal kit tiers. So yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Bye.